My name's Alex Clements and welcome to episode 1 of Social Stories.
How are you?
This is a new short video series where we chat to a guest about a specific point in their career. My first guest is Zack Gilmore. We caught up with Zack last year on the podcast, and today we're going to chat to him about finishing up his cancer treatment and progressing back into cycling. Zack's following in the footsteps of his grandfather Graham Gilmore and his father Matthew Gilmore, who are both very accomplished cyclists. Hope you enjoy episode 1 of Social Stories and make sure you hit subscribe.
I reckon the hardest part of doing an interview is just the start. You know what I mean? I feel like you actually need to sort of start the video with this sort of stuff, and then you can just cut it.
So what are you doing now? Christmas?
So big
carnivals?
Yeah, start off with big Christmas with the family. I think all the Gilmores are sort of down or flying down for it.
The richest cycling family.
Yeah. And then I think Christmas for us now is actually more about the carnivals than it is anything else.
Yeah.
I think because I've reached that age where I look forward to the carnivals. This year's pretty big. I've got the crits as well, so makes it a big block of racing, and then straight into road national.
Last time we caught up properly was probably this time last year, and you were just getting out of cancer. Was that? You got the all clear, but it was more.
I was still undergoing treatment.
You still had, because you just come back from that 6th day, which you did half alright in.
Yeah.
But then you went straight into treatment again.
Yeah, straight into treatment after that. And I think at that point it was just treatments once a month or once every couple of months or something like that. And then I finished in March this year. So that was the end. But before all that happened, it was obviously this time of year, so I was getting ready for carnivals as well, but obviously a lot less fit, I guess, than what I have been this year. So
how was that January, February, March period, like the finish lines?
Look, I think it was hard to get unmotivated, so I was really up and about for those last couple of months of treatment. So my problem was I actually ran into a bit of strife because I was so excited that I was actually going out and training really hard, just because I was like, I'm going to be a normal bike rider again in 3 months' time.
Yeah.
So sort of me being me, just went out, trained pretty hard, and still ended up
we feel
getting
$1 million though after coming off full treatment, even though you're still having once a month chemo.
So I think the biggest example of that is finishing treatment, and then the next week went over to the Bendigo International Marathon, and ended up winning the Golden Mile and the Opal the night before that. So won both wheel races there, and I think at that point that was such a high, coming finishing treatment, going straight into winning a race. I was like, oh wow, this is so awesome. It did not sort of was so high at that point, just on life, just so excited, I guess, finishing treatment and then being a bike rider again.
Was it guaranteed that it was going to finish in March, or was it?
Yeah. So at the start of our treatment, once I was diagnosed, they kind of give you an outline of how long it's going to be, and I guess the only hiccup would be if it was to relapse, then you'd have to do a longer treatment sort of stint, and then I guess they kind of have to work with what's happening at the time.
Can you remember that last treatment, running out, finishing? Yeah,
it was pretty exciting because they have a special bell you get to ring once you finish. I remember because I remember my last one, I still had to have a lumbar puncture so that the chemo through your spine.
Yeah.
That sucks. But I went into it, I was like, wow, I'm so excited for this one. I don't even care if it hurts, sort of thing. Once it's done, I'm done forever.
Yeah.
So I think this is probably the most excited chemo patient in hospital at that point.
And then you finish. What do you do?
Yeah.
Was it just
finished, and then it was sort of finding my way back into just being a normal person again, which was actually quite hard because you get so used to having the support networks in hospital and stuff. So you kind of feel wow, now I'm kind of stranded as a normal person again. Obviously I still have checkups, but it's nowhere near the same sort of thing. So straight back into school full time. Because I always
into grade 12.
Into grade 13, so
grade.
skipped or had to repeat year 11 just because I was so sick in that year. So, and I've always sort of loved school, so I thought it was really important for me to go back.
Yeah.
So then, straight back into that, and then straight back into training. Really, Dad kind of like took it easy for a while, just so I could sort of settle into training normally again. Like I still think there's areas even now, like 9 months after, that I still haven't sort of touched on. But I feel like that's still things that will come.
Was there a goal ever since you stopped? Were you like, all right?
Yeah, well,
or was it just let's just get back into it and then worry about it?
Yeah, I think the goal was always just to get back to what sort of level I was riding at. So like, I think going from under 17s, so I missed all of under 19s. So all I had was sort of my results from under 17s, and I knew who the good riders were from there. Kind of watched them as well. So I guess it was just sort of, my goal was just to get back to their level. So
yeah,
and that's hard because like you've missed two years. So like you kind of like rush to get back to that level, which I think sort of put me over the edge a couple of times and caused me to get a little bit sick or run down, sort of thing. Whereas I think now I can sort of see that progression or how to progress to that level. It's just going to take time.
How was that mental journey from finishing chemo to back into life?
Yeah, it's definitely got its ups and downs. Once you've finished treatment, you're not in that hospital support network all the time. So like when I get worried, like it sort of plays on my mind for a couple of days. I really have to sort of rely on mum and dad to sort of calm me down, or even sometimes they tell me that I just need to go and see the doctor about it, because I get really worked up in case something does come back. It's something just in the back of your mind all the time, like, oh, what happens if I get sick again? Because it's almost become, like, I'd say one of my biggest fears is just for that to come back, because like statistically speaking, that one day it will. Just once you've had it, you just have a higher chance of getting it again, which sucks, like sort of knowing that it might come back again. But I guess you sort of have to have that like positive outlook on life and just say like, just live now, sort of thing. Like enjoy yourself now, like really make the most of riding and make the most of school, and sort of try and push it all back, I guess.
But at this current point of year, I want to be a cyclist still?
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
I think the further I get away from that last treatment, like the stronger and the more I feel like a cyclist again. Like there's, I guess, less impacts still affecting me, because there's still certainly evidence that the chemo is still affecting me a little bit. So blood levels are still a bit low, and like got some like poor reflex in my legs and stuff. So the further I get away, the better all that gets.
Have you had one result since that was like, yes,
big
I'm
result
back,
on the bike?
I'm ready. Or just not even a result, but just like a race or even a training ride or a session that was like, yep, I'm back, I'm ready to go. This is progressing well.
I guess now with like power meters being such a big thing, like that's certainly sort of helped, that sort of stuff. Like I've broken most of my like power records on Training Peaks this year, so like that's sort of like, wow, like I'm actually coming back, sort of thing. Like this is sort of starting to work. Then again, like the results at Bendigo and the results at Stand Shaker, sort of even some of the results I had in NRS, where the racing's so competitive, to be up in that field kind of like gives me that insight that things are sort of coming good.
So what now? We've got, well, actually last week you just signed, it was announced you were signed for ACA.
Yeah.
Which is good. That's a nice little progression.
It is. It's a big step up for me. There's some like great bike riders in there. I've always looked up to riders like Sam and Kel and Lee Howard, riders like those guys. So to be able to be in a team like that, not only for the opportunities that I think that will bring with it on the bike, but also they'll also have a lot of experience off the bike as well that they'll hopefully be able to teach me.
Are you studying?
Yeah, so
riding? Like, what's going on next year?
yeah, so there's actually a fair bit going on next year. So make the move up in mid-Feb to...
And you're moving to Gold Coast?
Yeah, Sunshine Coast. So making the move up from Tassie to Sunshine Coast mid-Feb, and that's due to being able to start uni up there. My preference for uni was this clinical exercise physiology, which sort of
sounds hard.
Yeah, it's I think it sounds harder. Like it's just working in.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
good to tell people.
Rehabilitation. I think
Where did that stem from?
That stemmed from me being in hospital. So I worked with someone in that area, and I kind of look back on it now, and I was like, wow, that person really made a huge impact on me, and that's sort of why I chose to sort of do that. But I can also relate that to cycling. I can also work in that area in a sporting environment, so it's kind of got the best of both worlds. So hopefully I can bring in a bit of experience from both sides.
And cycling front, what are we looking at?
Yeah, so cycling with that team, I think
all road.
Yeah, or I think most of their rides are obviously road, being a road team. But I still love track, so I'll be doing a fair bit of track still with the TIS. Hopefully move into more Madison stuff, 6-day sort of stuff like that would be the goal. But we've recently had our first Tasmanian team's pursuit team in over a decade, which was really exciting at the most recent national. So I'd love to really sort of build upon what we've just done and get quicker times, with a lot of work still to go into it, a lot of gym work and a lot of riding. I think that's achievable. So try and set my mind to that over the next couple of years too.
Just clean up at Carney's now.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Make some cash.
Yeah, pay for rent.
We hope you enjoyed the first ever social story. Make sure you hit subscribe on YouTube, and if you haven't already, check out our podcast on the Stanley Street social website.